Foster is recognized for the purpose of offering an amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have an amendment at the desk.
And the clerk will report the amendment.
Amendment to H.R. 5503, offered by Mr. Foster of Illinois, amendment number 093.
Without objection, the amendment is considered as read, and the gentleman is recognized to explain the amendment.
Thank you, Chairman Smith. My amendment is designed to encourage NASA to have a hard look at reducing or eliminating the use of high-enriched uranium, otherwise known as weapons-grade uranium, in future missions. As you know, NASA is currently advancing various nuclear reactors for deep space missions, particularly to Mars. One of them is for spacecraft propulsion, which would likely utilize low-enriched, that is, non-weapons-grade uranium. The second is for surface power, which would potentially utilize high-enriched or weapons-grade uranium. High-enriched uranium is one of the most dangerous materials on Earth because of its direct significance for potential use in nuclear weapons and acts of nuclear terrorism, which is why the elimination globally of stockpiles has been a long-standing U.S. policy objective. It is also a material that's very dangerous to handle during normal assembly when you can have criticality incidents. This is appreciated by NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, which is leading the development of the propulsion reactor system utilizing low-enriched uranium. An underappreciated point about this is that the utilization of high-enriched uranium in any space reactor would result in considerable security-related costs and inhibit the participation of commercial and academic partners for development of testing, and establish a very worrisome precedent for other countries to use potentially large quantities of high-enriched uranium in their own space programs. And that is why I'm introducing an amendment today to require that the Space Nuclear Power Report include a cost analysis of the use of high-enriched uranium versus low-enriched uranium in power generation and other space applications, including surface power and in space propulsion. This cost analysis should include the long-term and especially the security-related costs of the high-enriched versus low-enriched uranium. This, I think, will help Congress understand the true costs of these different nuclear power sources. Thank you and for your consideration of this amendment, and I urge all of my colleagues to support it.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. I'll recognize myself to speak on the amendment, and I want to say to the gentleman from Illinois as well as other members of the committee, initially I was going to oppose this amendment because of its being submitted late and being concerned about the process. I know the ranking member and others have made comments about the process on the larger bill, but again, in an effort at comity and bipartisanship today, we're going to overlook the process, and I endorse the gentleman's amendment. Is there anyone else? The gentleman from Texas, Mr. Babin's recognized.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate this amendment from Mr. Foster. We have conducted a number of hearings on this very issue, and I support this amendment.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Babin. The gentleman from South Carolina, Mr. Norman, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.